Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Practical Tools of the Bible. I'm your host, Dr. Donnelly Snipes, and today we're talking about Numbers chapter 30, setting boundaries and creating safety. God tells Moses to take vengeance on the Midianites after they corrupted the Israelite people into worshiping their God and engaging in sexual immorality. Okay, so where's this coming from? I thought we were talking about love and prudence and respect. Well, good orderly direction using prudence or wisdom, earnestness, and respect tells us that if there are people who have proven that they will lead us astray, it's wise to put a distance between them and us. It doesn't mean we have to completely cut them out of our life anymore. But back then, it seemed like the Israelites really had a difficult time not being led astray. So God said, you know what? You just can't be near those people. It can be easy when it seems like other people are having more fun or have it easier to be lured by our desires. If you go on Twitter or any of the social media, and there are a lot of people who probably don't share your values, and it may look like they are having more success or having more fun or having more this or more that. It may not. But if it does, then it may be tempting to go, I want what they have. But good orderly direction reminds us that in order for us to move toward our rich and meaningful life that is characterized by and filled with love, we need to make some tough choices. We need to forego sometimes some of the things that seem like a lot of fun in the present in order to achieve a greater reward. How do we see people seeking vengeance through cancel culture and hostile takeovers in today's culture? Whereas in the Bible, God told Moses to go wipe out the Midianites, and there was pillaging and plundering and things we would find reprehensible today. Today, we don't kill the body. We tend to focus on things, or the culture often tends to focus on things like destroying someone else's livelihood, reputation, or relationships for sharing a different point of view or for having a different point of view. And I think it's important that we recognize we're still warring factions. We are just doing it in a different way. How does constantly being at war impact the individual, impact you? I know for me, I try to minimize my time on social media because it is so just nasty and dark and hateful and disrespectful. It's not somewhere I want to be. It doesn't mean that I don't have compassion and love for the people there, but I really don't like their behaviors. And it's important for me to step out of that, else I start feeling stressed. I start feeling vulnerable, attacked, hopeless, and it's exhausting. When the individuals in a community all start feeling this way, what happens to the community? It ain't a good thing. So it's important to figure out, how can we be at peace? How can we embrace our beliefs even in an environment in today's world that doesn't necessarily agree with us? And how can we live our rich and meaningful life? In Matthew 5, Jesus preaches forgiveness and prayer, and that is very different than the hellfire and brimstone God of the Old Testament. Jesus says, forgive, and that can be really challenging to sort of rectify. But remember, as we look through the Bible from Adam and Eve all the way up, we see people evolving. We see humans growing, just like a child that is one is not going to have the same abilities and the same liberties that a child who is 21 is going to have. Same sort of thing for the human race, if you will. So we have evolved. We've gotten more responsible. We've developed more higher order thinking capabilities that allow us to potentially peacefully coexist with others. So again, we don't have to destroy them and obliterate them, but we need to be able to set boundaries and say, you know what? I don't want to spend a lot of time with that. I will have compassion for you as a human, not so crazy about your behaviors and beliefs, but they're yours. You can have them. How does forgiveness and prayer achieve the goal of compassionate vengeance? Now, in the Old Testament, God says he will be the one getting vengeance. In the New Testament, we tend to preach compassion and forgiveness and prayer and all those things. And remember, forgiveness doesn't mean, oh, that's okay. Come on over. Let's have a barbecue. No, forgiveness means I will forgive you for that behavior. I will love you as a person, and I will forgive that mistake because it's not worth me tying up my energy fretting about it. However, I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to set boundaries to protect myself. So back again to compassionate vengeance. Proverbs 25:21-22. If your enemies are hungry, give them food to eat. If they're thirsty, give them water to drink. You will heap burning coals of shame on their heads, and the Lord will reward you. Think about, just mental experiment. If you were providing resources, if you were helping nurture those people who share different values, who were trying to be your enemies, I'm not saying get into strong relationships with them. I'm saying what would happen if you help them meet their basic needs? How would they feel? How would that change the picture? And would it cause them to feel shame? Maybe, maybe not. Even if it doesn't, how does the Lord reward you? How do you feel better about yourself because you know you exhibited compassion? How does the kingdom of God that you are building up with fellow believers, how is that enhanced by showing compassion not only for each other, but for those who are struggling or suffering? Just a thought. As humans, we have evolved to a point that we're often able to live among non-believers or other believers. However, if you're constantly steeping yourself in their culture, it can begin to seem more appealing. It's very easy to start gradually creeping over and starting to adopt their beliefs. Good orderly direction challenges you to prudently make choices that will demonstrate respect, love, and compassion, not necessarily co-signing on their beliefs. This is a saying that we use a lot in recovery. I'll be there, I will help support you, but I'm not going to co-sign on your beliefs. We usually use a different B word, but this is a spiritual program. I hope this has given you something to think about today and something to think about when you're on social media, and I'll see you next time.